Thank you guys for coming and watching this video. I just wanted to let you all know that it's really appreciated. This is probably one of my first videos on this channel. I hope you guys enjoy. So today we're going to be talking about my transition from Android to iOS. I've had an Android phone and I've been basically using Android for the past 7 years now. And I decided to switch for a couple of reasons. My last two Samsung phones, I had the S8 and the S9, both failed on me due to water damage. And the first one was intentionally my fault. I did try to swim with my phone in the water to record some video, and the IP68 rating did not really appreciate that. So that phone decided to die on me, so I had to get the S9. I decided not to swim in the ocean with it, but this time it was from long-lasting water damage. And how I figured this out was after my phone wouldn't turn on anymore, and I was wondering, why isn't this working? I opened up the phone and I saw that there was water damage and corrosion located at the top right corner of the device, near the SIM slot. So it had to do with some water getting in the SIM somehow. And that's what ultimately killed the phone. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna switch to iPhone. I decided on buying the iPhone XS, which is currently being used at 4K 30 FPS to shoot this video right now. And right now, my background setup is at a low light area, so I'm not expecting the quality to be as great as it could be. So don't take this footage as optimal iPhone XS recording. Now with that being said, I want to talk about the differences between Android and iPhone and the things that really changed my way of using phones after I switched. So initially I had been on the bandwagon of, oh, Android has better specs for cheaper, Android looks better, Android is more customizable, it's more advanced. It's not actually better. I don't think that Android phones are better than iPhone. I mean, this is coming from an Android user that's used Android phones for the last 7 years. And why do I say this? Well, buying an iPhone new is something I wouldn't do. The prices are too expensive in my opinion for iPhone, so I decided to buy this off the used market for around $350. And I think I got a great deal off of it. The screen is better than my S9 or S8. The camera quality is supremely better. The autofocus is so much quicker. The experience with the camera and microphone are so much better. And the incorporation of things like AirPods and other Apple devices are so much easier to configure. There's no third-party apps. There's less bloatware. It's much better for what I do. Now, I don't want to be an Apple fanboy all of a sudden after, getting an iPhone, but it does suit what I do much better. So I am a communications director for my school, and that means that I'm making Instagram posts, I'm posting on Twitter, I'm keeping up with our social media accounts. And doing that on an Android was fine, but when it came to sharing files through text messaging, when it came to making posts, especially with the S9, it has that 16:10 display aspect ratio, or 16.9.5. I'm not exactly sure, but it was definitely not the normal form and format. So story posts would look weird. The emoji thing, a lot of people clown on others that use a different, type of emoji than Apple, because that means they're using an Android. The camera quality is, again, much better when you compare Android and iPhone. With iPhone, you can take really good pictures really easily. There's less post-processing that has to happen after the fact, and it's just a greater experience in that regards. But when it comes to things like transferring files from my desktop over here to my phone, it's actually much harder to do on iPhone. On my S9, I decided to download an application called Pushbullet. Now this connects with a Chrome extension and allows you to send pictures, text, links, pretty much anything and straight to your phone as a notification, because I would use Photoshop on my computer and I would send the picture file straight to my phone and I would post through there. Now, I've had difficulties with iPhone because there's no push bullet on the App Store. There's no third-party apps that you can get. It's only the App Store that's accessible, especially with running iOS 14.4. They pretty much cut off almost all use of third-party apps. Now, I understand that, you know, it's for security and this and that, but it's hard to, you know, implement things with a device that, you know, doesn't even support it. So I had to make basically a Windows remote server and download one of the file management apps on the App Store and basically use that that server folder as a transition between. That is a little annoying, I'll be honest. It is a little annoying. That's pretty much the only con so far that I'm facing. I mean, I've had this phone for the past month now, and there's not a lot to complain about. When sending pictures over iMessage, they're very high quality. Before, when I was communicating with my friends who had iPhones, while I had an Android, the pictures would come back blurry. It just wouldn't look good. It wouldn't look sharp. And there was no way of fixing that other than like having them email it to you, which was kind of embarrassing. So iMessage transition, I can play games with my friends. I signed up for Apple Pay, it works very well. I also had a Google Pay account with my S9 and I would use the NFC option, and you can do the same with the iPhone XS. Having that ability to charge it with wireless charging is also very nice. I used to use my Samsung fast charger on my S9 and S8, but now since they don't work, I'm using it on my XS and it works pretty much exactly the same. Now let's talk about battery life. So my last two phones have 3,000 milliamps of battery and they would last a whole day, but after 2 years the battery started getting sluggish, so you would need to spend an extra around $15 to get an OEM battery to replace it every 2 years if you're interested in keeping the phone. But since my phones technically broke before then, it wasn't a big problem. So with this iPhone, something that's really surprised me is the fact that when the screen is off, the battery doesn't go down. Like, what I mean by that is when the phone is on idle, when it's in your pocket, it does not use as much battery percentage as my Samsungs did. This is something that surprised me because I did not expect to, you know, get ready for school, you know, go to school and check my phone and still have 98% battery on my phone. So I was really surprised about that. And it was a great surprise because it allowed me to not have to worry about bringing a charger to school. It allowed me to get my work done quicker because I wouldn't have to wait on charging it. I wouldn't have to worry about getting home and not having enough. I spend around 3 to 4 hours every day on my phone. So when I get home, it's around 20 to 30%, but that's more than enough to mess around with it a little longer before I do have to charge it. I think that flexibility is really important, and that's all through the software side. The XS doesn't use as powerful of hardware, but on the software side of things, it's just so much more supreme when comparing to flagships of Samsungs and Androids. And it just makes the device so much better when you have that optimization. I have had no problems with the RAM capacity. I normally am one of those guys that likes to, you know, swipe out all my apps after I'm not really using them. So I haven't had any problems with RAM or having too many applications open at once. If I go back to an application I haven't closed, it'll open up to exactly where I left off, and that's really nice. Samsung implements this too in their phones, but it's not as seamless as iPhone. When looking over all three phones that I've been, you know, talking about, I think that the iPhone does come out better, especially for my terms and how I use it. And I'm glad I switched from Android to iPhone as a daily driver. And to end off this video, I just want to let you guys know that I think it's really important to not hold a bias or, be a fanboy. I like the word fanboy because that really expressed my old opinions on iPhone. But it's really important not to be a fanboy of one device, one company, one whatever, because after a while you don't really get to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and recognize how things can be different and still be very beneficial. And I also want to say that I am not a 100% true Apple fan. They have a lot to work on before they get my 10 out of 10 approval. But I'm glad I switched because it does help my workflow and it does make what I do on my phone much more efficient. And yeah, that pretty much ends out this video. Please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, which most likely you are, I highly recommend subscribing for more tech influenced videos, especially regarding Windows 10 or more iOS things, tricks, tips, life hacks, pretty much all of the above. If you guys have any topics that you guys want me to make videos on, please leave them in the description down below. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I'll see you later.